Good morning, Spruce Society, or afternoon or evening, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Kelowna Giuliano, and I am just oiling up with this new, delicious, amazing Vanilla Whimsy roll-on. I hope you got that from the holiday catalog. It's my favorite because it's Valor with orange and vanilla, right? It's the same as Kid Power, but it's repackaged in an amazing, cute little roller, and I love it. So welcome. I am super excited to share today about autumn wellness. So anytime that we switch seasons, the weather changes and our bodies have to go through a little bit of transition too. And if we don't flow smoothly with those transitions, that's typically a time when we get sick. Everybody gets sick. We have our oils and supplements to support us, but I feel like the more we know, the better we do. And one really helpful resource for me has been learning about traditional Chinese medicine, which I studied when I was 19 years old. I went to school to become a holistic health practitioner. So I'm not a traditional Chinese medicine doctor. I'm not an acupuncturist. It was just something that I studied and took classes on. And what I have done is since I was 19, I started adopting some of these practices into my lifestyle and have incorporated them over the years and added in our oils and our supplements to kind of facilitate the process of staying healthy, especially as the seasons change. So we're kind of just in early fall, so I wanted to share specific tips for right now that we can do and we can share with our friends, our family, anyone we know using Young Living. So you can tag your friends that are in this group or take this information and share it, or even as new people start using Young Living with you, you can add them to this group and tag them in this video or other videos, other posts where they can learn more about how to use our products and why, right? Because we want people to get the most benefit out of everything that we're using, and same with us. And so I love this group. I love this resource. I love hearing from everyone, sharing things that they're passionate about related to Young Living. So this is the season of harvest, and it's basically we are receiving the benefits right now of everything we did in spring and in summer. So if we were kind of, out of balance or crazy or a little bit like in the summer, our body's trying to kind of catch up and recalibrate right now as we move into fall. So, we had the equinox on September 23rd, and that's when the amount of day and night is kind of equal. And now the days are going to be getting shorter, right? Until winter, and the winter solstice on December 21st is going to be kind of our shortest day. So we're kind of moving into this slower, darker time where we typically do best if we slow down a little bit and be a little more nurturing with ourselves. And in Chinese medicine, which is, couple simple things about Chinese medicine, it's been around for so long, and it is tried and true, and it is simple. And there are just some really simple things. One thing they talk about is yin and yang, and the basic definition of those types of energy. So yin is female, it is dark, it is receptive, it's kind of more earthy and kind of more contracted, whereas yang energy is male, active, light. It's more expansion. And so summer is kind of more of that yang or yang energy, and we're moving into this more yin time of year. And so they also have this 5-element theory, which relates to all energy, and there are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And so in this time of year, the metal element is what's associated with autumn. And metal represents minerals like the salt of the earth, structure, communication, the inner workings of our mind, and developing ideas, speaking, writing, and it's associated with the color white. And what's interesting is if you have a metal imbalance, or if you develop one, specifically what can happen around your eyes is you can get kind of this pale look around your eyes, and it might be noticeable when someone gets sick, or if you have a bad cold or like an acute or chronic like lung condition or something like that, or with people that are like really struggling with grief and sorrow and emotions that correspond to the metal element. So I just find this stuff fascinating, and anything that we can learn about our bodies and the way they work and different, systems is just fascinating to me. So our feelings, I talk a lot about emotions with Young Living, oils in particular, and how to keep our bodies emotionally balanced, because our emotions are directly tied to our physical health. And the more in tune we can get with our emotions and our feelings and working with them and allowing ourselves to really feel them and kind of transmute and process and let go, the healthier we can be. Because we know that if we hold on to different feelings and emotions, they just fester in our bodies and they can end up creating physical ailments. And so with this metal element, we are definitely working with so with each one of these seasons comes almost like this wheel of different characteristics of all these different things. I'm going to try to keep it simple, but the metal element is connected with the sound of crying or weeping, which can be a good outlet, right, for sorrow or grief. And then the smell that's associated with the metal element is pungent or spicy. So with different foods, cheeses and peppers and things like that, that can kind of, especially peppers, can kind of open up your sinuses and, clear them out a little bit, which is great because it stimulates the lungs. And, someone who has like an extreme love or an extreme hate for spicy food could have an imbalance in this metal element. But also the metal body fluid is mucus, and the climate is dryness. So extreme dryness this time of year can actually injure that metal element, and the opposite is dampness. So just being aware of like, are you someone who's excessively, has congestion? Maybe that's something that you are prone to. It might be this imbalance in this metal element, especially this time of year, because if we have too much congestion, that's where microorganisms can grow, and, it's like mucus or whatever, it's stagnation, whether it's in your sinuses or your lungs. So runny nose, congestion, coughs, colds, all of that can be, excessive this time of year. And of course, we have lots of products that offer respiratory support. And so I will share some of those in a little bit. And that just helps out kind of balance, that metal element. So we can do lots of things to support our respiratory system, thankfully. Also coughing. What was I going to say about coughing? There's something really interesting I wanted to share about coughing, and I just lost it in my notes. I will find it. Oh, on a symbolic level, coughing is resistance to communication, emotions, or unwelcome change. So I have really studied over the years, not just emotions, but also what it means when our physical body reacts in a certain way, because often there is something behind that. So there are lots of different books and resources on that. If you want to learn more, message me, we can chat. But dwelling on melancholy or that sadness that we were talking about associated with metal element can lead to colds and lung ailments and even digestive problems. So it's good to be kind of, moving through those emotions and welcoming joyful feelings. And I mean, obviously, if you're going through some grief, that can be really hard to do, but getting support around processing that grief so that it's not getting stuck in your body and creating more issues. Also, our bowel habits can reflect our approach to change. So as the seasons and the weather changes, we can kind of get stuck sometimes. And if you're holding on, then you can get, like constipated, you might experience pain, you might not be kind of moving things as much as they should. So we're gonna talk more about different oils and Young Living supplements that help with that. Also, skin, body hair, and hair are associated with that metal element too. And our skin and our hair health often reflect what's happening in our lungs and our large intestine. And those are the two organs that are most important to support in fall, the lungs and the large intestine. So in order to keep those really strong and keep the metal element balanced, there's a lot of things that we can do to support that. So just like we need proper food to stay healthy, we also need to be breathing well. So but incorporating some type of exercise into your life where you are focusing on breathing. I mean, even going for a walk can help you kind of stimulate your lungs a little bit, right? Get you breathing. Sitting down and practicing breath work. Essential oils is a great way to breathe deeper, right? Because you put an oil in your hand and you're like, it makes you take a deeper breath. And anytime we can allow ourselves to take like a long, slow, deep breath, even just taking 3 a day, like reminding yourself, timer on your phone or something like that when you wake up or when you go to sleep, taking 3 really long, slow, deep breaths, that's so cleansing and detoxifying for our bodies. It's really good for calming down your nervous system, and it's great for our lungs. And I mean, even as you're sitting there right now, like we tend to hold our breath a lot, and especially when we're nervous or busy or stressed, like we kind of aren't taking deep breaths. And so since we know in this season our lungs are so vulnerable, it's a good time to, whatever you can do to focus on moving energy in your lungs by taking bigger breaths. And it's also a really good time to keep your chest and neck area warm because our lungs don't like to be cold. So, you know, covering up a little bit, wearing a scarf, I mean, unless you're hot and you just run warm, but not allowing yourself to get like too chilled. And that's easy this time of year because at least where I live in California, it's a little chilly in the evenings and the morning right now, and then the middle of the day is like blazing hot, so you kind of have to dress in layers, right? So keeping yourself warm, that can help prevent, you know, colds and chest and lung issues. A great way to keep your sinuses clear is by using a neti pot. Has anyone ever used a neti pot? So you can Google it if you haven't and check it out, but it's this little, almost looks like a little teapot, and you put warm water and a little teeny pinch of sea salt, and you put it, it sounds really weird, but you put it like in one nostril and you tilt it, and at first it feels like you're drowning, like it reminded me of like going under a pool, like when you're in the pool as a little kid and you get like water up your nose or something like that, but you go like this and it feels really tight and tense for a second, and then the water starts flowing out your opposite nostril, and you can add a little bit of like eucalyptus, maybe just like a toothpick dip, like not a ton, because we don't recommend putting essential oils directly in our nose, right? So I did not tell you to do that, but salt water and warm water, and you can like clean out your sinuses that way, and that's a really nice way to help your respiratory system, especially this time of year. Also, one thing we can do is, since we're working on large intestine and our digestive system and keeping things moving, is making sure that we are not consuming too many refined foods and watching our eating habits. So I know that I'm totally guilty of like running out the door, taking my kids to school and like eating in the car, right? Like we all do that. Moms especially are just busy. But if we can pay attention to sitting down and relaxing and enjoying our meal, not watching TV, not looking at our phone, not reading something, and just eating and focusing on just the meal in front of us, it will make a huge shift in your ability to digest your food. And for some people that can be a really hard practice, but it's something to be aware of if you struggle with like irregular bowel movements or your digestive system isn't quite right, because it's pretty easy to have congestion in our intestines, and that's a huge source of a lot of pain and a lot of illness, is like not moving. We just had a class the other night. Carol Ye Garner and Jessica Petty and I were at Carol's house, and she had 3 naturopaths come teach a class on weight loss, detox, and hormones. I know I'm getting off topic a little bit, but not really, because we're talking about digestion, large intestine, autumn. But they were saying that they recommend that people have at least 2 bowel movements a day. And occasionally for some people, 1 might be okay if it's like a complete bowel movement, they were saying. But they were saying that it's like typically food in, food out. Like you should be going 2 to 3 times a day. And so for a lot of people, that's not normal. So there are lots of things we can do to make sure that things are moving, because if you're not going every day, like that is not a good sign, and it can lead to all other types of issues with your health. So we just want to make sure that like that's a really big detox pathway. So if you're taking supplements, you're using oils, you're doing all this stuff, but it's just backing up and your body's not able to detox it, then those toxins are getting like reabsorbed into our body. So we want to like move those bowels. So cutting out, like being aware of not too much processed foods, being relaxed when we eat. This time of year is typically where we start to, according to Chinese medicine, of course, if you are on a special diet or you have restrictions or whatever, follow that. But according to Chinese medicine, they say that this time of year is best to start eating more protein, more vegetables, and everything warm and cooked. So like less raw, a little less fruit, because our bodies need to kind of bulk up for winter a little bit. That's natural, and it's nurturing for our digestive system and for our whole bodies to kind of just start to be more nurturing, including like the foods that we're putting in our body. So let's see what else. Yeah, we talked about unexpressed feelings can kind of create energy that leads to congestion in all parts of our body. So, you know, when we're healthy, like we don't think about it, but when you're sick, it's like, oh gosh. But you know what? When you get sick, it's like puts you right where you need to be. You need to be laying there resting. And usually if you're getting adequate rest and you're doing things to recharge your body and get enough exercise and sleep and all those things, we're good. But as soon as we slack for a certain period of time, the universe is like, bam, lay down, be sick for a little while and like recharge, right? So don't feel bad if you get sick, just lay there and rest and know that that was what was supposed to happen. So everything in moderation is the key to prevent getting sick and help with maintenance. And that's why this time of year when we're switching seasons, it's good to kind of just take a look at all of these things and see how we're doing. So let's talk about autumn cleansing. This time of year is a perfect time of year to do a cleanse. And I know a lot of people will wait until like New Year's, and that's the time of year that people want to do a cleanse. It's fine. I mean, any time is probably okay, but this is like ideal. Spring and fall are the best times to do a cleanse, and specifically with Young Living's cleansing trio. So that's ICP, which stands for Intestinal Cleanse Protocol, Essential Zymes, which are digestive enzymes, little tablets that you can take. There's a couple different enzymes that Young Living has, but specifically Essential Zymes are used in the trio. And then Comfortone, which Comfortone has an herb called Cascara Sagrada, which is a little more like a laxative, and they're tablets like filled with herbal powder, you know, and you swallow them. So the ICP is, you know, you shake it up and you mix it with your Ningxia and some water and you drink it. The enzymes you take with your meals, and then the Comfortone you can take either at night, in the morning, but you can use those three. And Gary Young, founder of Young Living, taught that we need the like large intestine, and keeping everything moving and clear and detoxing that pathway is a foundation for all health. So he recommended using that first and then starting to use oils and Ningxia and all these other things, because if we're not moving and we're not flowing and we're not going to the bathroom regularly, then we're not able to absorb all the nutrients from everything else, not even our food or other supplements or other things that we're doing. So I highly recommend using those products if you haven't tried them yet, and do it with a friend or a couple friends. A couple years ago, Wendy and Jessica and I did Cleanse with Friends. We started a Facebook group, maybe some of you were in there, and we all used those three products for like a month, and it was great. And we, you know, shared our stories and, you know, talked about how it was going, and it was really fun. So other products to support gut health is our Life 9. Life 9 is just a great probiotic. I take it every single night before bed. I think it's wonderful. I think everyone could benefit from that. Some people choose to do like a juice cleanse. I used to do that every year before I had kids this time of year. I don't feel like doing that now. That doesn't feel supportive for my body. Some people do the Master Cleanse. Joanna Malone does that quite frequently, and that's pretty intense. It's lemon juice with water and maple syrup and cayenne, and you just drink that for a week. Well, I would like not survive if I did that, but it's an intense cleanse. So you may want to get some help or support, because if you do a cleanse like that, when you're finished with it, you can't just start eating regular food. You have to like very slowly go back to eating food again. So it's gentle on your digestive system. That's why I love our products, because you can keep your lifestyle pretty much the same and just add in these products and drink extra water and have an incredible experience. But whatever works for you. Another cool thing is skin brushing. So you can get a dry skin brush. A lot of us have used that during the lymphatic challenge, if you've been around for that, but you can do that anytime. And it eliminates dead skin cells, but it also helps clear out toxins. And you can, your whole body, you just sweep toward the heart and you just kind of gently, really gently, it's not like a rough scraping, it's just super, super gentle. And you do it on your stomach, you do it everywhere. So that can be a great thing to do, especially this time of year. Some people do colonics, hydrotherapy, where they like literally get their intestines like washed out. But I mentioned earlier, working on our mental health, and meditation is a great way to do that. Meditating is just super hard because you have to sit still and not do anything, but take a couple deep breaths of a wonderful favorite oil, sit still, and just focus on bringing your awareness back to your breath. That's all meditation is. But there are so many studies of the health benefits of meditation. It's free. You can do it anytime, anywhere. You just have to close your eyes and sit still. If you have little kids, I used to lock myself in a closet or like sneak outside. Whatever you have to do to find a little bit of quiet time, even if it's only like 5 minutes a day, it's going to be really helpful for relaxing your digestive system, relaxing your lungs. And there's, like I said, tons of studies on blood pressure, cholesterol, all of these different benefits with meditation. All right, so let's see. Autumn diet, we talked a little bit about that. Better time for like warming foods and things like that, and lighter exercise. Just because we're moving into that more yin phase, like we talked about in the beginning, where we just want to be a little more nurturing and slowing down a little bit. So, walking, yoga, like you don't necessarily have to push yourself super hard to get exercise, but doing some type of movement for your body is going to be really helpful in keeping you healthy and keeping your large intestine and your lungs healthy, which that's what we're working on. So some oils that help with healthy lungs and respiratory system. And you can shout out or throw some in the comments if you have like favorite oils, but I'm just going to mention a few that I use and love that we have. So RC actually stands for respiratory congestion, although compliance would say respiratory comfort. And that was the first blend that Gary Young ever made. And there's this amazing story about someone who was really struggling. They didn't think this person was going to survive through the night. Gary whipped up this blend, put it in the diffuser, was rubbing it all over this person, and they ended up living for a lot longer than they thought. And so RC, Raven, Breathe Again, Roll On, Thieves. We have our new season essentials, which is great. You can use it in all different ways. It's kind of like the allergy trio, but with a couple added oils. You can take it internally, you can put it in your diffuser, you could rub it on your chest, breathe it from your hands. Any of these oils, you can use them however you want. If you like the smell, the diffuser is the easiest. If you don't, rub them on the bottom of your feet and like cover them with socks, right? If there's anything you don't like the smell of, but you like its benefits, you can even put a roller on it so you don't have to even touch it to your hands, or just drop it straight out of the bottle, like onto the soles of your feet, rub them together. And so Melrose, Purification, Ravensara, Cypress, Peppermint, Dorado Azul is an unsung hero for respiratory support if you haven't tried that. Thyme, and then all of our eucalyptus, radiata, globulus, and then eucalyptus blue, but globulus is a promo this month. So, right? Isn't that a promo? Yes, I love that one. I drop it in my shower and it smells like a spa. And evergreen essence is also great for respiratory support. If there's any others you use, let us know. Thieves lozenges and cough drops. I mean, you don't have to wait until you have something going on. You can just use those anytime you hop on an airplane, or when you're volunteering at, the school and there's lots of people around you fighting things. I just keep Thieves lozenges or cough drops in my purse and just kind of suck on them like once a day. And then our supplements for respiratory system, Super C is a great vitamin C. There's the chewables or there's the tablets. We use both. Allerzyme is actually a digestive enzyme, but the aller part kind of stands for like allergies. So for people who are particularly sensitive with the weather, the seasons changing, Allerzyme is great. Multigreens, Life 9, and Inner Defense. And then essential oils for digestion. So Digize is like the king, right? Digize is amazing. It's a life-changing product for many people. I drop it straight under my tongue. I keep it in my purse and I use it several times a day. I love Digize before and after a meal, anytime you feel anything going on especially, but even if you don't, you can just use that knowing you're supporting your digestive system. Release. So not everyone thinks about the blend Release being used for the digestive system. We think of it more as being like an emotional support oil. It's both. So it helps us to let go. So you can rub Release in a clockwise motion over your lower abdomen anytime you need help going to the bathroom, or on the soles of your feet. Peppermint, tarragon, fennel, ginger, Juva Cleanse is another great essential oil for digestive system, large intestine, nutmeg, and ocotea. And then I mentioned the cleansing trio. Also, Ningxia Red is so great for our digestion and for our intestines, keeping things regularly flowing, moving. Alkaline, and then Paragize. So after you've used the cleansing trio, ICP, Comfortone, and ICP, Comfortone, and Essential Zymes is a great time to then do a parasite cleanse and use the supplement Paragize. So prep your system, making sure everything's moving with the other three, and then add in Paragize. And that could be a life-changing experience for you. We have there was a whole Facebook group, I don't know if it's still there, about people's experience getting rid of parasites. There's lots of things you can do, but we have an excellent Young Living supplement that is basically a capsule filled with essential oils specifically for parasites. So that is about it. This is just a great time of year to, if we want to be in balance, quiet down, slow down, gentle exercise, be more nurturing, and you know what to do to take care of your own body. But I feel like when we slow down and we quiet down, even journaling and meditating and all those different things, it makes such a huge difference in how you feel. And we don't always do that until we don't feel good. And then we're like, oh my gosh, what do I need to be doing? So I hope this was helpful. I have a little quote here. What's important is learning to listen to yourself from the inside out so you don't have to become ill to change your life. And I love that because, it just helps us. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions about any of this, and I hope that you stay healthy this fall. I'll talk to you later. Bye.